Or episode
now in the driver's seat. There
77.
you go.
Oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ. I knew I'd regret this. See what can I do? Can I do that? I'm gonna do the hard sell. What's early bird? What are we doing?
Yeah, $149 before July 1st.
Before July 1st for $149, you're gonna get to come and get Sums of Wisdom and Value 2-day conference. You guys, July 1st. When is this episode gonna air?
It's gonna air in 2 weeks.
All right, so in 2 weeks, you got 2 weeks left. That's it. So if you don't get your credit card out and book your ticket for the Watersports Forum, I'm going to personally come to your house and I'm going to snatch you up by your short and curlies and smack you in the fucking head because this is going to be an awesome event. And it's going to be tons of fun. And I'm going to be doing a ton of programming. You're going to hear me talking nonstop. And our guest today, my business partner, and I would say friend, but I actually don't like him. He irritates me to no fucking end, but he's a really smart guy. He's going to be there as well, talking about what we're going to talk about today.
I don't know if it's a selling point, though, of you talking the entire time. Is that a selling point for the conference?
Fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? Because we're going to be doing happy hours and shit, and I'm going to be at those motherfuckers. And so at the thing, after the thing, you're going to fucking be hanging out. Of course it's a selling point, dude. $150 gets you in. I'll be selling friendship packages once you get in for way more than that. So you get a taste of my friendship. But as Ilya can attest, that friendship will cost you way more. And a mental health part as well. Cash and mental health.
It'll cost you a garbage can across your office.
Throw right at your fucking head. Yeah. So Ilya, how you doing today, brother?
Good, man. Just running around. Trying to cover for you as much as I can.
Get the fuck out of here. It takes 7 of you to cover for me.
Yeah.
So Ilya is my business partner at Destiny Water Adventures. He is also the brains definitely behind our Fareharbor integration. He is he's not here to sell you anything. He's a operator as well. He actually he does cover for me while I'm not there. But Ilya, tell him a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into water sports?
Well, you dragged me in kicking and screaming.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean,
background. What did you do before?
I was an engineer, electrical engineer. Like literally right before this, I was living in Germany working at the biggest automotive supplier in the world. You could probably Google to figure out which one that is.
Are you not allowed to mention them?
I don't know. I just... do I sure Bosch.
Yeah.
God. Greg, you can cut that out if there's any
no, you're issues. Fine. We're gonna be okay.
Now that you guys know that Ilya's going to be speaking, we're going to be lowering the price down to $129.
As this episode continues,
don't worry, guys. All this fucking wisdom for $149. It's unbelievable. So I was because Ilya's probably a little nervous. Ilya was an electrical engineer. I didn't finish exactly. Ilya does all of our Fareharbor shit. If you guys are having a problem with Fareharbor, Ilya could probably get you dialed in on the back end of your Fareharbor connection quicker than Fareharbor can. So we invited Ilya to come and talk a little bit about going from being an engineer to being in the water sports community, what it's like to be my business partner, which is all awesome for him. Really great.
Just rainbow and sunshine every single day.
Every single day. Today, this is an actual, so we talked to Kevin Nobis before you came on, and was talking about his mentor and how he brought him in and how he was patient with him and taught him shit and helped him. And so I was like, man, it made me feel bad because this is an actual conversation between me and Ilya this morning. He goes, I said, can you also make a call to Google and see why our Brooks location GMB isn't verified yet? And he goes, you got any contact info? And I said, yeah, let me get you Larry Page's number. Maybe Sergey Brin is around. Let me text Steve Jobs and tie your shoes for you. That was my response. That's my kind, compassionate, guiding mentor hand when Ilya has a problem.
Right.
I'm so proud of myself. And tie your shoes
Right.
to you. I just left out, you fucking moron. Poor guy. And he's not stupid at all. He's actually really like highly intelligent, but that's the problem. Anyway, so
I am an idiot. Otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Don't worry, so am I, buddy. I'm fucking, trust me. I'm an idiot too, for sure. So you're okay. So you take this thing for Bosch and then you're in Germany, and then you get a call 5 years ago.
Yep. I mean, we've been friends for 20 years.
20 years.
Well, maybe not friends for 20 years, but we met 20 years ago and eventually became friends.
We're associates.
And
we've known each other for 20 years. Right. I wouldn't even call you my friend now.
I've been downgraded again.
No, you never made it there. Yeah. You were so close, and then you came and started working with us.
So when you moved out to Key West, 1 year I was out of a job for like going on a year and a half, and I was selling meat around Detroit off the back of a truck.
God, yeah, I bet you were.
Was it Swans? Was it the Swans meat?
Oh, no. It was a shady version of it.
It was like a fake. What was the name? You can say it. Don't worry, no one's listening. What was the name? What's it called?
What was it? Iowa Steak Company.
Oh, yeah. Like instead of Omaha, it was Iowa.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Great. I love that.
The Nevada Steak Company.
These guys are all over the country. They are just shady ass door-to-door salesmen, with drug problems.
Right.
I can't imagine anybody actually can make a living selling meat. Like out of who buys meat out of a truck for a door-to-door salesperson? Like,
I mean, it's packaged to look good. It's not like, it's not terrible meat. They're different quality. Yeah, I don't even want to go down this road.
Yeah,
but
I'm very curious because I see
I'll
these.
Tell you about it.
It was like in the ghetto, wasn't it? It was like
it was throughout. I mean, downriver was a big market for us. Definitely the ghetto when the EBT cards, the food stamp cards, got refilled because we could take those.
Oh, so okay, all right.
Yeah,
I see. Where does your door to door selling meat, and then you can just swipe the EBT cards. I get it.
Yep.
So you're on the side of like sitting in a car on the side of the road in Detroit selling your meat.
Exactly. Take that as you will.
Anyone that would buy. Let's fucking fast forward a little bit. So anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, so I came down. You had just moved down to Key West, so I had nothing to do that winter. Can't sell meat in the winter in Detroit, so I decided to do a road trip, and I ended up at your place down in Key West. Was going to stay for maybe a week and ended up being like close to a month. I almost didn't even leave, but a job offer came that I had to look into back up north. But I just kept visiting Kevin, on the regular, like at least once a year.
Giving his meat to me for free.
Exactly. I mean, what are friends for?
Long story short,
he
gave me money when
5 years ago, you moved up here and called me up, and while I was in Germany, I was like, hey, remember that thing that we talked about? You still down? If I start my own company? And I was like, well, I got money in the bank. Here you go, take it.
Meat industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that cash burning a hole in my pocket.
Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break and talk about our sponsors for the month, AMP Agency. AMP is a full-service digital marketing agency that specializes in tour, rental, and destination marketing.
We would not have sponsors on the show if we could not vouch for them ourselves. AMP Agency does a bunch of stuff for Destiny Water Adventures personally. I 100% vouch for this guy. I've handed them over to other companies in the past before they officially became a sponsor, and they have had nothing but great things to say. If you guys are doing your own marketing and doing a piss poor job of it, do yourselves a favor. Hand yourselves over to AMP Agency, specifically Steve Edwards, their CEO, will call you personally and have a great conversation with you about what you guys need to do for your marketing.
Listen, guys, they do pretty much everything in digital marketing: website development, maintenance, Google AdWords, PPC, graphic design, social media management, SEO, and a myriad of other things. When you choose a marketing company, it's so important to choose a company that knows your industry. And AMP Agency knows activity marketing, especially water sports and tours. They got a promo going for Awkward Watersport Guy listeners for their managed websites. Use promo code Awkward Podcast when you go to amp.agency. Again, that's amp.agency, promo code Awkward Podcast. You get 3 months free and get started with AMP Agency. All right, guys, let's get back to the show.
So like I asked like a bunch of water sport guys that I was working with at the time to I'm like, yeah, let's do this, like let's start our fucking own water sports company. And man, I like bought full in. I put money down on my house. I got there, and then everybody bailed on me like the last minute, because I'm like, we do this, we go fucking take over, buy a head boat. Initially it was gonna be day of play. We were gonna do like the whole like party head boat combo trip, South Florida style. That's what I wanted to do. And then I was just like, me and Ilya talk all the time, and I was just kind of like bitching to him. I didn't even ask him for any money or anything like that. I was just like, everybody bailed on me. And then he was like, I'll get in. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man. I'll like, what do you need? Like, here's a fucking check. Not that Ilya's like a rich guy or anything, but I mean, he gave me a significant fucking portion of his life savings to do this. And so through the years, like I would, anything he could do to like help me from afar, because he was in Germany. And like we all fucking now, like we outsource shit. We work with all sorts of people all over the country that help with marketing and fucking building and doing all sorts of stuff. And I can't remember what it was, dude. Like it was something with fucking Fareharbor. I was so annoyed with them, and I was like, dude, can you handle this? Like, or I just wanted you to do, because it was so annoying. Like we were splitting inventory for the jet skis. Like that's what we were arguing about the other day. You're like, it's shared resources. And I'm fucking like, it was really funny, by the way, like not to like air our argument, but you didn't tell me anything. You were explaining.
I told you 100 times.
I didn't know we were down 5 jet skis.
I think there might even be a little problem. I'm the one, Kevin, I think this might not, So if I'm going, yeah, it's fine. There's no problem.
So just so we're clear here. When you say in a sentence to me, how many times do I have to tell you? It is going to, unless you are a customer of mine, that's the only person. Anybody else, if I can get a hold of you, is going to get your head smashed in, or at the very least, as many times as I fucking need you to tell me, motherfucker, is going to be the answer. We'll put that in the fucking company handbook. How many times do I have to tell you, Kevin? As many as I fucking need.
Sunshine,
that's what it's like. That's what it's like to work with
day.
So run us through a little bit. Obviously we haven't really had like a formal sit down meeting talking about the programming, but like, what do you say is like what's your biggest struggle? What's your biggest struggle with Fareharbor, without you going on a tirade about how much you hate this fucking done for you great products that these software companies build for us? Yeah, I know that's not specifically
honestly, it is
what
a
you
great
need.
product. It is a great product. There's just, it's certain what seems like common sense features, that are just not available. I can figure out how to use their functionality to get what we want out of it in most cases, but there are certain things, that like just cannot be done. And like one of the things that I was, bitching for a while about was the fact that if you have an add-on, like that you use a custom field for with one product that you sell individually as another product. So if you're, use Fareharbor, customer types is really just products, the product that you're selling. You have the customer type, which is that product, and then you can have add like a checkbox or a drop down or a quantity of something that you can add, and you can put a price tag on that as well. The problem with the custom fields is you cannot tie it to your shared resources. So the issue that we had a couple of years ago, last year, was with our paddle boards. We can add them to our pontoons, or we sell them individually as their own customer types.
Meaning like a rental.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when somebody books the paddle board as itself, it's pulling paddle boards from that shared resource. I need 2 paddle boards. I've got 5. It pulls 2 out of it. I've got 3 left. But if I have it being an add-on with like a checkbox or like a pull down, quantity that's attached to pontoons, I can't tie it to the shared resource. So somebody can, grab 2 paddle boards, and then somebody else at the exact same time can rent 5 paddle boards. Well, we don't have 7 paddle boards, so we have a little bit of an issue there.
So let me stop you there. So let me bring Greg into this.
Mm-hmm.
So Greg, go ahead and take like devil's advocate here for Fareharbor. So
okay, I know exactly the problem. So we have shared resources from separate trips. So if you had paddleboard rentals as a separate trip, and then like another paddleboard rental, like a tour, and someone booked a rental, it does share resources between the 2 trips, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If we had
you're talking
that,
if you added this, if you're strictly adding it on as an add-on, you have to create a custom field for the add-on, and it doesn't take from those resources. So I understand the problem. We don't have this solved on WaveReds either. From the fact that it's a very complex code. It's just it's complex feature to have 2 different trips basically combined and one as an add-on. So I understand where the challenge is from it, and I can understand the challenge, like what you guys are facing.
But to your hold on real quick. So to your point, Greg, though, but this is like all the time though, right? This is every operator with very specific needs, whether it be to their industry, their a product, whatever it is, because at the end of the day, you still have to make money. And it's like you can't build custom software to suit everybody's needs at every single location.
Yeah.
So,
there's literally a laundry list of features that each one of our clients request. And, and some of them, like, they threaten us. Like, we're going to leave if we don't get this one feature that no one else will ever use, but it's very specific. And that's the whole reason why WaveRes, we used to have a lot of different types of partners, museums and walking tours, and we decided to get rid of all those businesses or just basically cancel their agreements because we couldn't program our software for all different types of businesses. We had to stick with like a niche because we can, a lot of people share the same features, like rental companies, they're going to share a lot of the same features. But it's like when a museum wants to let's say they want like a subscription service, like a membership card. Well, boat rental companies are not necessarily going to think about that. I mean, you do have boat clubs and stuff, but the majority don't care about that stuff. That's a huge feature to build. So like we really dumbed it down to just like jet ski, pontoon, and boating because all the features that those companies need are pretty much the same. And then we get a lot of one-offs still, but yeah, it's challenging. Like I honestly, every reservation software, they have their, work cut out for them because there's just so many unique things that operators need.
So Ilya, did you find a workaround for that?
I mean, there are workarounds that we had discussed, and Fareharbor does provide, options like go ahead and, just add it as a customer type to the pontoons that people select, and then you can pull from or just add it
that looks
as
like
a
shit on the back end, because it looks like
exactly,
you have to go and rent that, so it's going to drop your take rate or your conversions.
Exactly.
So if you make a pontoon underneath, and you have this, and I've seen operators on Fareharbor make that fucking mistake. It's like the most common mistake I see, where you see like boat rental, and then underneath they fucking have all of their add-ons onto it, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not. No one's going to convert that, because the conversion is going to happen at checkout. So,
and that's exactly it.
Tip: stop doing that shit, and then you just have to manage your resources manually if you want to get the conversion, and then just block that paddleboard out, or the floating lily pad, or whatever your add-on is. Keeping that with us, you're just not going to do the conversions. The add-on, like just the way people, their shopping habits.
Are you talking about emailing them after the reservation saying, hey, add on this?
Just changing the booking flow so that it's, an additional item that they have to select, that it looks just like the pontoon. So I do a drop down and select a pontoon, and I get the pontoon populated, and then I have to go down, and it's, right now, if you look at our booking flow in the pontoons, you have maximum 4 options. You've got 2 types of pontoons, and you've got 2 time options, half day or full day. And that's it. We're not going to.
On the front end, what I'm saying, Greg, is on the front end, you see like Ilya said, where you just have like half day, full day. But on a lot of companies, because they don't want to overbook that resource, which is an add-on, they have it on so it'd be like literally on the front end, instead of you booking. So with us, our booking flow is you book the boat, and then you go into the next page of the booking flow. The next page opens up, and then down it has your terms and your conditions. You have to your damage protection. We make as a you either have to decline or accept it. It's a mandatory field. And then underneath it, it has, would you like to add toys on there? So we have a mat. So we just see higher conversions rather than on the front end of the booking flow, because it's confusing, because it's literally almost like you're renting a separate piece of equipment. Like it would be like, oh, I'm renting a boat and a jet, so rather
you're
than
right, you're right. You're gonna make more money when you combine them, but you're just gonna have to handle it manually.
Exactly. So and we're willing to, bite that bullet on our end. Go ahead and, buy a crap ton of mats.
It's the email. It's the buying habits. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to add this? Okay. Do you want to add this? Okay. You know what I mean? It's like these little things that's just like, when you look at e-commerce, you look at even the masters are info products. They're really great at it. And they use like Shopify carts and stuff like that. So they stop you nonstop with the upsells. You can't even complete the damn purchase unless you buy the book, or you buy, hey, would you like to add on the this or the that? Like, they sell you on the $9.97 product. And then before they let that sale continue, they'll have like pop-ups on their windows. So any of like Russell Brunson products, Grant Cardone products that you buy online, and it has that same like Shopify flow, but it's even more intrusive on their end. So
I like with the upsells that I forget what it was that I booked, but every upsell, and you're right, it wasn't a separate, it was in the same form that I was buying. But the next question was, after I purchased, I put the main thing in my cart. The next question was, enhance your experience with adding this wonderful, I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was beautifully written. It made me feel like, man, this sounds really good. Like I'm going to buy this. But that's one thing that I would recommend for people is when you're doing your upsells, if you can put like a description in there, really sell it. Like it is going to make them feel great about themselves if they get, and just say, instead of saying add a paddleboard, just say, put a little something in there to make them visualize what they're actually getting and how much more fun they're going to have. It brings me back to like the interview with John DeSauer about, how to really sell it and talk about, the problem that the person is we're trying to solve for them is that, they're on vacation and the problem is that they're trying to find fun, right? Like we want to sell fun to them.
Yeah, and it's just so funny because Ilya just punched up our upsell product descriptions the other day and sent me a text and was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" I'm like, "Awesome, dude. That's awesome, right?" So it's not
That's
just
exactly
like a
what we
lily
were doing
pad,
before.
right?
Yeah,
So like,
add
I mean,
lily pad,
why? 100%.
and that's it.
And so it's like we talk about the phone sales end of things too, where it's like what you said, Greg, is like we're trying to solve a problem. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, these upsell products that we're offering like solve major problems. Trip protection solves a major problem. Damage protection solves a major problem. Lily pads and paddleboards solve problems. They enhance your day. They make your day better. Why do you not give that the same amount of power or ad copy or description that you would the main product? At the end of the day, there was times when we were on parasail boats where we were making more than the boat was. Our photo package was literally making more than the actual parasail rides were making. Why? Because we were solving a problem in a very eloquent, sometimes very hard-nosed, pushy salesman kind of way. But, you know, me and Ilya were talking about this the other day, how the lines of advertising and marketing, those lines are really getting blurred. And I think there's a lot advertising can really learn from marketing, and obviously vice versa. But getting back to the original point, Ilya, what would you obviously we're going to get a lot, and Ilya's going to be doing a roundtable at the event, and we're going to be digging into this quite a bit deeper. So this is kind of just like a little bit of, I'm not trying to sell you guys anyway, but this is what we're going to be getting into. We're not, Greg's going to have someone from WaveRes there. Ilya's going to be talking about Peak Pro. We're still looking for
Fareharbor.
I'm sorry, Fareharbor. Yeah. Giving stuff away. And then somebody's going to be there. I think we're going to do something for Peak Pro. And we wish we could have everybody there. I don't know, as the programming goes, maybe we'll find another spot for somebody else to come and talk about their experiences with theirs. But Ilya, my question for you is so a guy like me, my first year, I'm driving a boat, answering the phones, what's the best piece of advice you can give for somebody as they're starting to send in support tickets versus doing things themselves? What's going to be the most actionable piece of advice you would give to a starting?
What I did, because it wasn't always like, I learned it over time. And I did make mistakes along the way. And the biggest thing is, when you send in a support ticket, describe what you want the thing to do. And this is kind of like engineering. You need you've got an idea in your head of what you want it to do. Try to give as clear requirements to these guys of exactly how it needs to function. And then ask them how they did it. If you don't have time to kind of like sit there, just ask them for like a video or a, screenshots of how they did it and go through it to learn how the system works. And, maybe in the future you can take care of it yourself, or you get a better understanding of how the system works so that you can refine your, ticket requests. I think, Kevin, like one of the biggest issues you had in, trying to get Fareharbor to do something for you was you've got, and I'll tell you this based on my experience, you've got this idea in your head, but how you present it with words is lacking. And then it goes into the other person, the other person picks it up and interprets them what you just said based on what they have in their head. So it's a game of telephone, going on, and what you want versus what they actually do is going to change along the way.
Oh, yeah. I hear this. Same when TripShock integrates with the Resi's reservation system. So when our customers request things need to be done with the integration, it's exactly what you say. If it's not done, if it's not explained black and white, step by step, they're just going to assume things of how they need to be set up. And most of the time it's wrong. I know that some of these reservation systems outsource their customer service. Not to say it's bad or worse, but I mean, typically if their employees are located in the regions where the operators are at, I feel like they have a slightly better understanding of things. But if you're not coming from an operator's background and using the software before you become a support person, that's what kind of gets me with reservation systems is the support people never been on the front lines using the software. And when they tell someone to do something or make a change or use it a certain way, it's like, man, you don't realize, like, I'm out here with a tablet, in the sand in 100-degree weather, and I got 90 people lined up. So, what you're suggesting to me is not going to work the way that you hope we would use it. So, it's literally, there is a disconnect, I think, but you're right. You have to be very black and white when you're explaining to them, because every business is going to use the software a little bit different, and you're going to have to change your business to fit what the software offers. Like if you think you're going to get this software and just mold it exactly how you were doing things with pen and paper, it's not going to work. You're going to have to change the way you do business. And there's been times where we've signed up people for our software. They used it for like 2 weeks and they said, the software is fine, but it's just changing the way we do things too drastically. So we can't like the ownership and the employees doing things the same way for 20 years. They just weren't adopting it. They weren't willing to change.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway, especially for water sports, because we are so, sorry, Ripley has made yet another appearance. Hey, I need you to scram for 5 minutes. Go on.
I'm grabbing myself.
Ripley, no, I need you to walk out of the room for 5 minutes. Man, my daughter, oh my God, she is the master of, like, you know what I mean? Like, I am just living in her world, and that is it. She just runs the world, and she's like, yeah, so I'm going to finish doing what I was doing, and then you can, I'm like, oh my God.
I wonder where she gets it from.
I have no idea.
No.
No clue. But I think the big takeaway here is that, and this is like something I preach like all the time. Guys, you especially for our industry, there's not going to be a done for you solution out of the box, and that's your marketing. That is sales process that you're not going to find. Not yet, anyway. I'm telling you, like, I'm going to start telling you guys stuff. But there's no sales training for water sports. There's sales training for everything else. For selling roofs, for selling cars, for selling homes. There's a sales process. There's some kind of sales training. You guys we have no sales training in the industry. We have no, again, like, yes, Fareharbor, Peak Pro, WaveRes, Checkfront, all these large internet or all these res tech companies. Water sports, because it's so niche, and even again, like water sports, and you've heard me say it a million times, there's nothing sporting about renting a pontoon boat, but yet sport fishing is not considered a water sport. We all do that. All of our stuff happens on the water, but it is very, very specific. Renting a boat versus operating a parasail operation versus riding a head boat, and even different kind of head boats. These are all very, very specific, different requirements for East Coast versus West Coast. All of these out-of-the-box solutions, they require your time or somebody on your team that has the technological prowess to involve themselves in this. And I get it because sometimes you're driving the boat, you're answering the phone, there's, you know what I mean? Or you're trying to deal with employees, and then you hand it off to like your cousin or your sister, whoever your ops manager is. And we talk about this all the time, that putting people in the right seats. Ilya, for our organization, last week, Kevin Nobis was talking about having people in his organization that, like trying to force them into a spot. As entrepreneurs and operators, sometimes we have to wear all those hats. So Ilya's a little bit of I can't use him as like a specific use case. I do know that software and engineering and back-end stuff, that's his bread and butter. But at the same point in time, he's also part owner of Destiny Water Adventures, and you're gonna fucking have a tan if you work in water sports, if you work for us, especially if you're fucking at the helm. You know what I mean? If I gotta walk away and give him the wheel, so there's because and Ilya's becoming an entrepreneur in his own right, and I've got to smash it in his fucking head sometimes extremely violently. That entrepreneurship and engineering.
With a trash can.
Yes, I kicked a trash can across the office at Ilya's head last week.
There's one important thing I want to leave. There's one really important thing I want to leave everyone when it comes to ResTech. So just seeing that with all the clients that we have with WaveRes, one thing I notice is that they are sometimes not willing to accept the workaround. They might have a very complex problem that needs to be solved, and we can solve maybe 80% of it. And sometimes you just have to make it work, because the grass is not always greener on the other side unless the other software that you might be looking at has the exact solution solved to a T. And you have to understand, is it worth moving for that one feature that you're getting that is going to cause you have to retrain all of your staff? You're going to have to switch out your website. It could cause SEO issues. There's just so many things that you have to take in effect. But I see people leaving from one software to another because of one feature that saves them a little bit of time, but doesn't bring them any more revenue. And they're just not willing to accept the workaround. And there always is going to be, it never ends with just that one thing. There's always going to be something else that happens. And I find that just really interesting. Another thing is most operators that use WaveRes are only utilizing it maybe 60 to 70%, meaning there are features in there that can make your business more money, that can get you more reviews, that can enhance your web profile, everything, but they're just not utilized. And some of our support people, and this is just not, I'm talking all of ResTech. But call your if you have a rep for Fareharbor, Peak, or WaveRes, call your rep and ask them what features that are coming through the pipeline, what features are out that can help bring you more business, what ideas, what are other businesses doing that's helping them. Like, really dig into your reps and ask them what is working for other, because it could be one, like, let's just say damage protection. We talk about damage protection because everyone's utilizing it now and they're making a lot more money. That could be the one thing that maybe your rep is seeing from other operators and that you can implement right now and immediately start making money. But don't sleep on their knowledge. Like, they're looking at several different operators. They're talking with people all over the world, and they can utilize that into your business. But take advantage of those features.
So I know we don't want to run super long here, and I don't want to get into like an ideological bent. But at the same point in time, I do feel as though like it would behoove ResTech companies that, obviously it's just like, but look, man, if I don't remarket to my customer who didn't get damage protection or didn't get a mat, then I'm not going to get that sale. And I would like to keep that customer for a lifetime. So, if they're, and don't get me wrong, I've seen some cold emails come through from Fareharbor fucking about, dynamic pricing is coming soon or something like this. But at what point do you expect to like maybe know or to be able to like have somebody reach out? Like, I can't tell you. It is pretty rare. I think at the beginning of this season, we did get an email from Fareharbor saying like, oh, hey, like, let us know if you need anything or just checking in on you or seeing anything. Like, at what point do they, hell, Greg, there was some features that TripShock Halfer, like, had that we weren't utilizing, that Luke called me and it wasn't a fit for us, but Luke called me and told me about it and offered it to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in that or whatever. No big deal. But still, if there's new features that a ResTech is bringing to the table, wouldn't it behoove them to be reaching out to their, at least some of their larger partners and saying like, hey, we see you guys aren't using that for you. Right. Yeah. We don't have dynamic.
It has to go both ways. Yeah. But, sometimes you can't wait especially with a company like Fareharbor that has 15,000 users, something like that. Like you're not going to see them reaching out as heavily as like a smaller, like with WaveRes. We have to, we only have 50, 60 clients. So we have to reach out to people, and we have to be very proactive with the ones we have. But it needs to go both ways. But when you're dealing with big software, you almost have to make that, like with Google, we have to reach out to Google. They used to come reach out to us prior to the pandemic. Now we have to go after them and say, hey, what's up? What's the big new thing? But yeah, it's definitely interesting with ResTech of how it's evolving. But if you want to really utilize it to the fullest, definitely check out all the features. There could be something there that, could make you a lot more money and really help your business out, because they add so much so fast. You sometimes get, like, just with Google ads, how many times you log in your dashboard, they have like some new bidding feature. I mean, I can't even keep up with it. You need someone to kind of walk you through all the new features that are going with, that program, because they're building them for you to make you more money, but we just don't have the time sometimes. But
I guess with that I think we're out of time. I wish we had more colorful anecdotes, and I mean, but there'll be plenty, guys. I'm not hitting you with the hard pitch, but Ilya will be at the Watersport Conference September 26th and 7th. And he'll be giving you guys a skinny hosting the roundtable for Fareharbor, and answering your guys' questions about how Destiny Water Adventures has been able to use our ResTech to its fullest potential, which has helped made us a lot more money and increased our cart size. So with that, Ilya, thank you. I know how busy you are. You're running about two different companies.
15 different calls.
I get it, man.
On here. Yep.
I get it. And thank you for carving out some time, and thanks for keeping the fort down while I'm gone, brother.
Kevin, I'll see you when you get back into town. Love you.
Yes, you will.
Greg, I'll see you again soon. Really fond of you.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening, guys. And as always, keep it awkward.